What's up, guys? Anthony here. Time for the daily podcast. I brought a new co-host in today. I think I might make her a permanent, maybe, if she gives me the time, because there's a shit ton of things going on here right now. We tried this podcast about 3 times already, but we're getting toilets changed and
fire extinguishers,
a bunch of stuff going on. But that's just how it goes. But I'm committed to doing a daily podcast. Karen has agreed to spend at least 9 minutes talking about a subject. And today, for the Ask Monetti podcast, comes to us from, we're not going to share her name, but you know who you are. And her thing was, you should do a Monetti Minute on peer pressure. I'm getting a lot of peer pressure from my friends. My friends. And I said, that's way longer than a Monetti Minute. We need to spend at least 9 minutes on that. So peer pressure is super. It's a big part of people's transformation, because when you're doing something that's different than other people, you're going to get a bunch of shit. You're going to get heat coming from, I say heat, meaning like pretty much negativity from, people who aren't able to do what you're doing, or they don't have the courage yet to do what you're doing, and they're not inspired. They're actually trying to, misery loves company. You heard that phrase. So they're trying to bring you down to their level so they feel better about themselves. And they may not be doing it intentionally. It's just it's a natural thing for them to kind of, bring you down and be like, come on, don't worry about your diet. It's only one meal. It's only 4 drinks. Let's just say fuck it and have these drinks and celebrate how unhappy we are. That's not cool. So the peer pressure is real, and I brought Karen in here specifically because during our weekly, right? You were doing
I do weekly group calls.
Weekly group calls, which it's about nutrition, it's about fitness, but there's other things that what?
It's mostly about
nutrition.
Yeah,
right?
Confidence building and
weight loss, right? I want to lose weight. That's
life.
What people initially want. They want to lose weight. They want to look good. They want to feel better, right? But really, like, the education and the support that comes is more about teaching people and helping people get through shit like this, like peer pressure. Like, how do I get around the fact that I'm committed, I'm ready, but I show up at a party and people just won't leave me alone, and I feel like compelled to just, throw my goals out the window and have the extra piece of cake, or have the beer, or even go out when I don't feel like going out. So, Karen, you spent actually one whole day during the program dedicated to peer pressure, right? So I'd love to hear your thoughts, because my quick thoughts would be like, fuck you, you're not my friend.
Yeah. Well, that's how I end it, but now
if you're not supporting me, if you're not inspiring me or supporting me, then get the fuck out of my way. Excuse me from those folks who don't like to hear me curse, but I keep it real, and that's just a part of my language. But I would say F off, really, like, this is what I want to do. I experienced it a little bit with bodybuilding in the beginning, because even my mom, sometimes it's your friends and family members that care most about you.
It's mostly your friends
them.
And family, because they're your closest, and they have the most influence on you.
And they use that to their advantage. So
yes,
they're gonna try to steer you in the direction that may not be what they think you should be doing, and that's a difficult thing. I've dealt with it my whole life with bodybuilding and my other dreams that I've had, crazy stuff. You're always gonna have this kind of deflection somewhere along the lines, but you surround yourself with people who support you, and that's one of the main ingredients. My arm still looks big, right?
It hasn't changed since yesterday.
I'm gonna make note of that bitch every damn day. Whoa, that's a screenshot right there. Anyhow,
jeez.
Get into it, Karen. Tell us a little bit about how you handle that.
So there's a couple ways you can do this, right? And you have to always remember that people are going to put their thoughts on you a lot of times because it's what they feel internally and has nothing to do with you. It's how they're feeling. So a lot of times those are projected feelings because they're really uncomfortable, or they can't do it themselves at the moment, or they don't want to. So there's a couple ways around it, right? The first thing is, when you're going to either a dinner or a party, go in with a plan. Right? Okay, I know I'm going to go to this party, and I know who's going to be there, and I know, the spread that's going to be there. What is my plan going in? Is it my relaxed meal? So I can just say, let me have a drink or two. Is it the fact that if I have something in my hand, people will leave me alone? So maybe have a wine and make it a spritzer, or maybe have a cup of coffee or a cup of water in your hand, because chances are if you have something in your hand, people kind of just stay away from you then, because they think, oh, they're engaging in that. You also want to remember that having a good time does not necessarily mean that you have to eat and drink, right? If you're with your friends, the goal of that is to have laughter, it's to have stories, it's to have a good time. And food is not the main ingredient into having a good time. It's the communication.
Experience.
Having the experience. I think when you go in with plans and when you go in knowing that food does not dictate my fun, that also really helps out in the long run of you saying, okay, I can separate my time with my friends rather than letting my goal go just to eat because everybody else is doing it.
Elaborate on the word friends. If they really support
you. If they really do support you, then they're your friends. But if people are constantly trying to push you down and have you go against what you're doing, maybe they're not your friends and it's time to reevaluate that.
You know what this person said? She said that her friends said to her, remember what happened to so-and-so? We don't hang out with her anymore. Meaning, like, the other girl was trying to do something different, and they weren't associating with her anymore.
Good for that girl, then. She got out. And she's living her dream and working on her potential.
She got out.
There is nothing wrong with that. It's one of the hardest things is, like, you're surrounded with these people your whole life, or maybe 5 years or 10 years or whatever it is, and you think that you really have a good, close relationship. But the people who are really important in your life will support you. They might not understand it. They may question it. They might say, well, what's the problem with just one? And if you authentically say, like, well, listen, one is going to lead me to this, this, and this, and that's going against everything I've been working really hard for, that person who says they're your friend or your family member might be like, I get it. I'm not going to pressure you anymore. I might ask like 1 or 2 times, but I'm really not going to push it on you.
And you watch, after you do that, if you stay your ground, and if you stick to your guns, and you don't give in to that peer pressure, then they will eventually be like, well, what exactly are you eating? And you look great, by the way. I hate it. I hate you for looking better than me, but you look better than me, and I love it. What are you doing? And you'll start inspiring those people, and that will be a game changer for you because now the pressure is flipped onto you. Now you have the full control, and now you're putting pressure on other people to kind of, live better or live more happy. And ultimately, it comes down to happiness.
Yeah.
If you're looking in the mirror and you're totally happy with what you see, then cool. If you're doing things that are totally making you happy, then cool. Like this video right now makes me super duper happy. I don't care if there's 5 people watching it.
Great.
I don't give up.
Another thing too is if you tell your friends and families of your goals, sometimes that helps to alleviate too. But like, listen, I really want to talk to you before I go into this event, right? So if you have a close relationship and you're going to their house for a party, call them up and say, hey, what are your healthy options there? I'm really on this path to better myself, to get healthy. Maybe don't center around just weight loss, right? I really want to treat myself with the most love and the utmost respect. So I'm going to call this person and say, hey, what do you have there? Is there something healthy I can bring? And when I'm there, listen, my goal is XYZ. I don't care if you support, at this moment support it or not, but just don't pressure me into anything. I'm really working really hard on it. Sometimes just having that dialogue really helps out because people don't know. Everybody is trying to lose weight and look better, but they really don't know how serious you are about it. So sometimes having that conversation beforehand really can help alleviate it.
Just remember, it's your goal, it's your life, it's your project ultimately that you're working on.
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to take responsibility for that but you. So stand your ground. Don't succumb to peer pressure.
Yeah.
It's, what are we, 12? When it's peer pressure to rob a candy store or is it peer pressure to smoke a joint or no, you do what you need to do. What makes you happy? What drives you? That's ultimately what we got. We got 20 seconds.
Well, remember this too.
Woo!
This is how I end all my calls on the peer pressure. You alone are the only one who goes home with yourself at night. Now, you might go home with your significant other, husband, boyfriend, whatever. I could come home with you tonight. Right, that's fine. Don't sleep and fraternize with employees. No.
3 seconds, go.
So listen, you're the only one who goes home with yourself at night. You solely lay your head down on your pillow and you have to go to bed knowing that you accomplished what you need to accomplish. That person who put all that pressure on you at that party or at that dinner goes home and lays their head down. They don't lay their head down. They're not in your brain. They couldn't care less of how you feel at that moment, that you feel like a failure, that you let yourself go, that you went against your discipline. They don't care because they're at their own bed, their head on their pillow, thinking about everything they just did.
I have one more person.
They are not.
I had a little moment of energy. Come on, go ahead, finish up. We're over 9 minutes. Go.
If you stop talking so much, interrupting. No. So they are not laying their head down. You have to be 100% confident and feel good about your actions because you are the only one who's in your brain. And you are the only one who can do that. Nobody else can. So at the end of the day, F it. I really want to say something else, but I try to fuck it.
There you go.
They are not home with you hello, Cheech, in your brain. Okay.
They are, if you let them.
If you let them.
Come on, we had a
but
minute
they're
over.
really
Let's
not.
go. Wrap it up.
I'm done.
You're so sexy when you're angry.
Oh, God, thank you.
Believe in yourself. Trust the process. Practice patience. Thank you guys for listening. Please like, share, distribute, tag a friend that's going through some peer pressure. Whatever you got to do, let's get this podcast to millions.
And if you have any specific topics or questions, hit us up and let us know, and we'll do another.
What's the hashtag?
Hashtag Ask Monetti.
Woo! Fire, baby!